Hey everyone, welcome to the Bold and the Beautiful. I'm Oma, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Bold and Beautiful update, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. You ever think you know someone, and then one night, one secret, changes everything? That's exactly what happened to Will. One moment he's in love with Electra, planning a future, and the next, Luna drops a bomb that shatters his entire world. Bill absolutely loses it, Katie's in tears, and Sheila actually celebrates her granddaughter's twisted little scheme. It's a story about lies, betrayal, and how far a family will go to protect their own. Trust me, you're not gonna believe how this all plays out. Bill absolutely unleashes on Luna, and Sheila celebrates her granddaughter's impressive scheme. I never thought I'd find myself caught in the middle of something this twisted, this raw, this painful. But here I am, telling the story that tore through my family like a wildfire. My name doesn't really matter. What matters is the truth of what happened, what I saw, what I felt, what I lived through when everything came crashing down. I'll never forget the night it all began unraveling. It was late, later than I usually stayed up, but my phone buzzed with a message from Katie. Just a few words. We need to talk about Will. Urgent. My chest tightened. Urgent. With Katie, that could mean anything. She was always protective of Will, always hyper-aware of the choices he made. He was her baby, even though he wasn't much of a baby anymore. But there was something about the tone of that text. It was sharp, clipped, desperate. My instincts told me that this was more than the usual motherly worry. When I called her, I could hear it in her voice. Shaky, almost broken. "It's Will," she whispered. "It's about Luna." Luna. Even now, when I say her name, my stomach twists. She wasn't just some passing figure. She was complicated. On the surface, she had this sweetness about her. That smile, those eyes that always looked like they were holding back secrets. She could charm her way into any room, and for a while, she charmed her way into our lives too. She made Will light up in a way I hadn't seen before. He'd talk about her with this spark, this excitement, like she was the first girl who ever truly saw him. But there were cracks, little inconsistencies, strange things that didn't add up. Katie always noticed them first. She'd whisper to me at family dinners, "Do you see the way she avoids questions? Or how she knows too much about Bill's business?" I brushed it off at first. I didn't want to see it. Will was happy, and happiness had been rare for him. But happiness can turn sour so fast. That night, Katie spilled it all. "She's pregnant," she said, her voice trembling. "And she says it's Will's." I sat there frozen, the silence pressing on me like a weight. Pregnant. My mind immediately jumped to Will's face, his boyish grin, his nervous hands whenever he was around her. He wasn't ready for this. He was still trying to figure out who he was, what he wanted in life. And now this. But it wasn't just the pregnancy. It was the way Katie said it, the anger laced beneath the fear. "She's manipulating him," she said flatly. "I know it. I feel it. She's trapping him and Bill. Oh God, Bill is going to lose it." And she was right. When Bill Spencer loses control, the world around him feels it. He doesn't explode quietly. He doesn't rage behind closed doors. He unleashes on everyone. And that's exactly what he did when Luna came to him, swearing she loved Will, swearing she was carrying his child, swearing this was fate. I wasn't in the room when it happened, but I've heard enough, pieced enough together, to know the way it went down. Bill's voice, low at first, then rising like thunder. "You will not ruin my son's life with this. You think you can come into my house, my family, and play your games? You're out of your damn mind, Luna." And Luna, defiant as ever, clutching her stomach like armor. "I love him. He loves me. This baby is ours, whether you like it or not." The way I imagine it, Bill must have looked at her like she was dirt beneath his shoe. He called her arrogant, conniving. He told her she was nothing, that she'd never give birth to a Spencer child. He even said, "God, I still shudder at this, that Lee should have let her die instead of saving her." That's how much hate he spat at her. But here's the thing about Luna, she doesn't back down. She has this steel inside her, this stubborn streak that almost dares people to come at her harder. She stood there, chin raised, eyes blazing, and said, "Guess we'll see about that, won't we?" That's Luna. Always a game, always a fight, always a scheme. And somewhere in the middle of all this chaos was Will. Sweet, conflicted Will, torn between the girl who made him feel alive and the family who wanted to protect him. At the Forrester guest house, he sat with Electra, the girl who loved him without question, without games. She was light where Luna was shadow. She was steady where Luna was unpredictable. And yet, Will's heart was caught between them, heavy with guilt. I can only imagine the way his voice shook as he told her, "There's something I need to tell you. Something that happened the night of my promotion party." Electra, so full of love, so trusting, looking at him with tears in her eyes. "You can tell me anything. There's no one else in this world for me. No one." And he, broken, whispering, "But you deserve to know." The weight of secrets, the cost of choices, it all came crashing down that night. The thing about secrets is they don't just sit quietly in the corner. They claw at you, scratch at you from the inside out until you either let them spill or they consume you completely. And Will, poor Will, was drowning in his. I remember that night at the guest house like I was standing right outside the window, watching it unfold. Electra had set the scene like a girl who believed her love story was about to take its next step. Candles flickering on the side table, a soft playlist humming in the background, her eyes glowing with all the hope in the world. She thought Will was going to propose, or at the very least tell her how much she meant to him. Instead, what came out of his mouth shattered her. He tried to start gently. He told her how much he loved her, how she was his safe place, his heart. But then his voice cracked. He couldn't look her in the eye anymore. That's when Electra's smile faltered. She reached for his hand, squeezing it like she could hold his heart together with her grip alone. "What is it, Will?" she whispered. "You're scaring me." And then the truth, messy, brutal, unforgiving, slipped past his lips. That night, after the party, something happened with Luna. Her face. God, her face. It was like watching the color drain from a painting. All that brightness, all that warmth. It just disappeared. She let go of his hand like it burned her. "Something happened," she repeated, her voice breaking. Will cried. He actually cried right there, shoulders shaking, tears streaming down his face. He tried to explain, to justify, to confess all at once. How Luna cornered him when he was vulnerable, how he drank too much, how he wasn't thinking clearly. He swore it wasn't what it looked like. He swore he didn't love Luna. But when he finally said, "And now she's pregnant," the words landed like a hammer blow. Electra just sat there frozen, eyes wide, lips parted, like a whole world had been knocked off its axis. I think what cut the deepest wasn't even the betrayal itself. It was the way she had believed in him. Electra had built her whole heart on the idea that Will was different, that he was steady, that he was hers. And in that moment, he was confessing to being pulled into the very chaos she thought she'd never have to worry about. She whispered one word. Just one. "Why?" And Will, God bless him, had no answer. Just tears. Just silence. Meanwhile, across town, Katie was crumbling too. She came to me that same night, pacing the floor of the design office like a caged animal. Hope was there, trying to soothe her, telling her how strong Will and Electra's love was, how they could weather anything. But Katie wasn't buying it. She muttered under her breath over and over. He would never want to hurt her. He would never want this. I'd never seen her look so lost. It wasn't just about the pregnancy. It was about the way her son's innocence had been ripped from him. She saw Luna for what she was. Calculating, dangerous, a girl who knew exactly which strings to pull. And then there was Bill. If Katie was falling apart, Bill was building walls of fire around himself. He'd already gone head-to-head with Luna, and he wasn't done. He called people. People you don't just call unless you want things handled, unless you want outcomes decided before anyone else has a chance to intervene. When I overheard him say into the phone, "We need to speak in person, tonight," a chill ran through me. Bill Spencer doesn't make idle threats. If he said Luna's pregnancy was going to end one way or another, he meant it. And that scared me more than anything. Because Luna wasn't backing down. She marched out of his house that night with her chin high and fire in her veins, convinced she'd beaten him just by standing her ground. She believed her baby, if it really was Will's, was her golden ticket. Her shield against jail, against rejection, against losing the grip she thought she had on his heart. And in some twisted way, Sheila agreed with her. At Il Giardino, Sheila sat across from Lee, sipping her wine with that smug little smile that makes your skin crawl. They talked about Luna like she was a pawn on a chessboard. Lee, disgusted, said she was washing her hands of her granddaughter, that what Luna did to Will was unforgivable. But Sheila? Sheila leaned back, eyes glittering with pride, and said, "Outfoxing Dollar Bill and the Spencers? That's pretty impressive." Impressive. That's what she called it. It made me sick. While everyone else was scrambling to protect Will, to protect Electra, to contain the fallout, Sheila was sitting there toasting to her granddaughter's scheme like it was some victory worth celebrating. It told me everything I needed to know about where Luna got her streak of defiance, her willingness to weaponize love. And through it all, Will was unraveling. I could feel his guilt bleeding through the walls of the guest house. Electra's tears, his apologies, the silence that stretched between them like a canyon, it was all crashing down. And the worst part was, he still loved her. Even in the middle of his confession, even with his world on fire, he whispered, "There's no one else in this world for me. No one." But how do you prove that when the truth says otherwise? That was the night everything changed. The night we all realized this wasn't just a teenage mistake, or a fling gone wrong, or even a family scandal. This was war, between love and lies, between blood and loyalty, between the life we wanted for Will and the storm Luna was dragging him into. And none of us, not Bill, not Katie, not me, knew how far it would go.